Good morning. It's June 25th. Would everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bow your head for a prayer. Heavenly Father, we beseech your divine guidance in this meeting. Keep us ever mindful of our obligation. Grant us, dear Lord, wisdom, tolerance, and courage that we may well serve our county and fulfill our trust. Amen.
Amen.
We have minutes.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes of June 18th.
Second. Any additions, changes, corrections? Hearing none. Roll call.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes. Is there any public comment on our pending resolutions? Nothing? If not, we'll move into resolutions. We'll start with Andy Conrad. Morning, Andy.
Good morning. I have three resolutions for your consideration this morning. First, the necessity to close Greenwich Road for roadside construction, closing of Kennard Road for a culvert replacement, and closing of Magley Road for a bridge replacement.
I will make a motion to approve the three resolutions.
Second. Any additional comments or questions? Roll call.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
And weekly permits there for you.
Great. Thanks, Andy. And then we also have a commendation from your office. So I will read this. This is commending Quentin Channel on his 33 years of service with Medina County. Whereas it has come to the attention of the Board of the County Commissioners that Quentin Channel is retiring from the County Engineers Highway Garage on June 28, 2024. And whereas Quentin has been associated with the County Engineers Highway Garage since 1991, I want to give you all the credit there. And whereas Quentin rose from highway worker to foreman in his current position as highway superintendent, and whereas Quentin has served as a faithful employee under 3 different engineers and performed his duties in a superior manner, exercising initiative and sound judgment in the method and priority of all work assigned to him, and providing support and encouragement to fellow employees, and whereas the Board of County Commissioners wishes to recognize and honor Quentin for his unparalleled commitment to improving the roadway system within Medina County. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Medina County, Ohio, that Quentin Channel be and is hereby commended for his 33 years of service with the County of Medina. Be it further resolved that the Board wishes to take this opportunity to offer best wishes to Quentin for his retirement.
I will make a motion to approve the resolution.
I will second that. And then, do we want to do additional comments? Do we want to vote? Do we
Let's vote
vote
first
on it, and then we'll bring up for comments? So we'll call the roll.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes. I'll turn it over to Andy.
Just want to take this opportunity to thank Quentin for his years of service. He is a remarkable employee. Anybody that can go years, blocks of time without an hour of sick time, dedicated, one of the most dedicated people you'll ever meet. And we had a former employee his name was Captain County. If he was Captain County, he may be Colonel County, because his dedication to the county and what was in the best interest of for the county, I think, is unmatched. And I do appreciate all you've done for us.
That's great. Do you want to come up so we can present this and snap a couple pictures too?
Anybody else from your staff you want up there?
Josh, Dan, you guys want to come
Josh,
up?
Dan?
Stand by you. There we go.
If you want to come up here and get a closer picture, you don't have to stay back there. Yeah.
All right, get back in the
Yeah, but I saw him back there. I thought they're going to be looking too much ahead.
They even spelled your name right. Yeah, that's good.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Would you like to say a couple words?
You don't have to, but you
Yeah,
can.
you're welcome.
He's a man of many words.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure working for the county. I mean, I've seen a lot, learned a lot,
And, you know, for the safety of the motoring public, it's been a really good job. Seeing everybody out and about and working on the roads and making it all safe.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on, I believe we have Jeremy Cinco next, the sanitary engineer. Jeremy, you're going to have to, go back to relative anonymity of our typical meeting. Yeah. Sorry about that.
4 resolutions for consideration today. The first is authorizing the sanitary engineer to enter into an agreement with GPD Group for construction inspection services for the Fenn and Marks Road Elevated Storage Tank Project. The second is authorizing the sanitary engineer to enter an agreement with Dixon Engineering for the construction inspection services for the Fenn and Marks Water Storage Tank Project. The third is authorizing change order number 1 for the Boston Road Sanitary Pump Station Replacement Project. And the fourth is accepting and awarding the bid for the Fenn and Marks Road Elevated Water Storage Tower Project.
I'll make a motion to approve the 4 resolutions.
Second, any additional discussion? Roll call?
Sweattick?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy. Next up, Holly Mirren.
Good morning.
Morning,
We
Holly.
have 2 resolutions. The first is approving our personnel changes. 2 new hires, 1 in building, 1 in maintenance. 8 rate increases, 1 in planning, 1 in finance, 1 at office for older adults, 2 at job and family services, 3 in sanitary. We have 1 transfer between agencies from sanitary to maintenance, and 1 resignation at office for older adults. Second resolution is approving the table of organization for Medina County Job and Family Services.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2 resolutions.
Second, additional discussion? Roll call?
Sweattick?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Holly. Next up, finance. Brett.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
For anybody ready for a nap, I have 11 resolutions for you guys this week instead of the 2 from last week. So kind of bouncing around there a little bit. Our first one is amending appropriations. Our second resolution is transfer of appropriations. One line item I did want to note on there is a transfer out of our subsidies for indigent defense. These costs are rising considerably over the course of the year. Our third resolution is expenditure adjustments for various funds. For the most part, almost everything on here is just our normal quarterly adjustments for funds that are typically salaries paid out of getting moved over to their appropriate grants. Our fourth resolution is revenue adjustments for various funds. The sheriff's office had a few things that were deposited incorrectly, and the sanitary engineers had 1 receipt that went somewhere it wasn't supposed to. Our fifth resolution is cash transfers for various funds. This is just kind of making sure that we have cash appropriated for various activities, including our capital improvements, stormwater department, etc. Our sixth resolution is the creation of our drug task force fiscal year 24-25. This is the money received from McDack. The amount this year is for $935,000. Our seventh resolution is moving over to Family First Council, the Family-Centered Services and Support application from Ohio Department of Mental Health. They have awarded $62,870.52 for the next fiscal year. Our eighth resolution is Family First Early Intervention fiscal year 25 grant for the same period. This one's in the amount of $439,963. Our ninth resolution is creation of the Delinquent Care Fund and authorizing its appropriations, same fiscal year period, for $1,032,326.83. Our 10th resolution is our expenses of our county officials. We do have one out of state this time for the Sheriff's Office, the International Conference of Police Chaplains. And our 11th and final resolution is our weekly bills in the amount of $4,876,661.51.
I'll move to approve the 11 resolutions.
Second, additional discussion?
Yeah, I just, a question on the indigent defense transfer. Is that after reimbursement?
No, that is prior to our reimbursements.
Okay.
And that, actually, I had a question about that too. The amount that's being moved over, is that an anticipated amount to get us through the balance of the year?
It is not.
So-
this is a stopgap while we best understand what our future needs are for that. That is actually only one court's specific needs.
Okay.
That one is juvenile probate. The other courts have not exceeded their budgets as of yet for that period.
Gotcha.
So how often do we get reimbursements from the state on that?
So we receive our reimbursements from the state quarterly in arrears, but it's a little bit out of kind of out of sync. So we'll get them in chunks that come through. Importantly, our state reimbursement has shrunk. For this year, we will maintain as best we can expect. We will maintain our 85%. But the state is already, after their fiscal year budget that they passed, which covers 2 years, the state has already let us know that they are finding this to be a common problem across the counties. Everybody's reimbursements are going to go down as of calendar year 25 in order to make that work. The estimate right now is that we'll receive 78%,
78.
but that is an estimate as far as we are aware at present. So we are working on this issue to try and see what we can do to rein those costs in a little bit.
Well, and I think there's always it's a hard one to budget for in terms of some unpredictability there.
And it's a hard one to do apples to apples comparison because, we're not paying health care or OPERS.
Well, and even if you're talking
for
about, you mean
yeah,
to the
for the attorneys.
public defender's office.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it too, because if you have a big year or an exceptional year, an out of the ordinary year, it means we spend more. But in prior times, I wasn't here when we had a public defender's office. I
Right.
assume that means we'd be looking at additional hires, a full-time
Right.
attorney hires. So I still
So
think
the reimbursement now is going to true reimbursement
Well, it's
versus
for-
the back end
for
costs
legal
when we have
fees
for
instead of
employees.
administrative.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to outside counsel, yes.
Yeah.
That's an issue that we are looking into to kind of figure out how best to advise on you guys on the financial front for that, because this has been a cost that's been increasing considerably
And
over the past 4 years.
at some point, maybe taking a closer look at if there's eligibility requirements and things that we're
Right.
missing out on. I'm all for that. We want to make sure that everybody who's entitled to defense is getting it, but also kind of the other side of that coin is we don't want to be expending county resources on people who have the means and really wouldn't be eligible in an objective standard.
I still like the ideal that the judges are the ones who can best determine whether the attorney's doing a good job for our indigent versus the commissioners.
Right.
I think the judges are.
I completely agree. I'm not looking to take that back from the judges
Right,
at all.
right.
But we do have to keep our eye on the cost.
Well, you will hear more from me on that at a later date. But
Thanks, Brett. Roll call.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes. Next up is Chris Jacob. I should have known you were hanging out
Working.
back there. Yeah, I wasn't going to use that word.
3 resolutions this morning. The first approves a memorandum of understanding for the Office for Older Adults. This is with the Adam Board and is for a program for behavioral health resources for senior participants. The amount of the agreement is $10,400, and it's commencing July 1st of this year for a 12-month period. Next resolution amends a lease agreement with the City of Medina for use of the 1969 County Courthouse for the future operation of the Medina Municipal Court. This extends the commencement of the lease term to July 1. We have forwarded an invoice for the first quarter's expenditures for the 2 components of the rent plus the insurance component. This would defer the security part of the lease obligation until such time as the municipal court begins, the sheriff begins to hire additional staff if necessary, and it's operational for the muni court at that facility. The third and final resolution approves a release of mortgage for a property owner in Sharon Center. This is a CHIP rehabilitation loan that was provided to a resident. This would effectively release the mortgage on her property.
I will make a motion to approve the 3 resolutions.
Second. Additional discussion? Chris, I just was curious, not curious, but I think I know the answer to this. The security component of that, you said until the sheriff hires new, or they start operating, or is it and when they start operating?
And they started operating.
So if we are able to maintain the current levels of staffing, once they are open for business, that continues to be deferred?
Correct.
Okay. That might not have been clear to me, but the thought being we will need more when there's more people coming through.
The thought
there.
being we're going to add a second screening checkpoint to accommodate the muni court traffic that comes in the main entrance. And once that second checkpoint is in fact in place and operational, there's a need for additional security officers.
Yeah,
At
and
least that's what's envisioned. So.
that makes sense from the city's perspective too, that they wouldn't be paying for us to continue at the same level of service that we're providing now.
Correct.
But, and I'm glad that we were able to get on the same page in terms of the July commencement. So I think that's a good. I don't know if that was a trade-off, but that's a good. Where we are is a good place.
I think so too.
Do they have plans yet, or?
I believe they're still in the finalization of the construction manager selection. I believe council has taken a recess until August 8th. I think that's begun. So likely this agreement that you just have considered this morning wouldn't be, action wouldn't be taken by the city until they return from their recess.
Okay. Roll call.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, department updates. Debbie Kiley is here from Job and Family Services.
You said that like I was a movie star.
Yes.
First off, 3 resolutions for your consideration this morning. The first is authorizing the county auditor to transfer funds from the county general fund to the public assistance fund. The second is authorizing contracts for our substitute care of children in facilities. And the last one is accepting and awarding a proposal for recruitment and mentoring services for our foster care and adoption child services.
I'll make a motion to approve the 3 resolutions.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Department updates. Public assistance. There's 2 major changes occurring in the SNAP landscape, the food assistance program. Both of them are effective October 1st. The first change is in our employment and training program. I gave a brief description of this, I think it was in February, because that's when the state was whispering that this was going to happen. So we're continuing to do training, and policy is getting pushed out. But FNS had notified the state it has to revamp its employment and training program. Ohio had, sadly, the worst outcomes, I think, in the nation. So FNS said, you need to do better, state of Ohio. So they're moving it from a mandatory to a voluntary program so that all county agencies can focus on people who are ready to work, or those who aren't ready to work, help them get there. They've expanded some allowable activities, which is a big pivot, but a welcome one, because before we were so limited in what people could do, what we could assign them to, and for how long. So those things are definitely going to change too. Some of those timelines and activities, they're still working out the kinks in those. So as that policy continues to develop, I'm continuing to meet with my administrator to talk about, like, how is this going to affect the work activity team that we have now. Their job is going to be drastically different, and what does that look like, and how we can best manage that. So I'll keep you posted on those updates as they come through. And the next one that's also happening on October 1st, thank you, State of Ohio, for doing both of these things on October 1st, but the eligibility guidelines for SNAP are going to be increased to 200% from 130% as it is now. So, for example, at 130% of poverty level, a household size of 2, their income can't exceed about $2,100 a month, and that's gross before taxes, so it's dollar for dollar. Even if they're paying into an HSA, FSA, doesn't matter. It's gross income, buck for buck. At 200%, that same household could earn no more than $3,287 per month. So it's allowing individuals to not only earn more income, but the longstanding issue was that individuals that were receiving SNAP benefits, as soon as they hit 130% of poverty, they were done. No more benefits, you're finished. So a lot of individuals were having to decide, should I not take that raise? Should I not take that other job? Because my net income won't be as much as what I'm losing in public assistance benefits. So
That's a big challenge.
yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. I'm so happy that they're doing this. This policy is still being written. They're having training on October 1st. That would be funny. August 1st for the policy development of this. But there's something called the benefit cliff that the state of Ohio has long been discussing, so that individuals aren't just being immediately terminated, but we're going to give them more of a soft landing. Yeah. So as their income increases, the benefits will decrease. So they're kind of feeling that, almost that logical progression from receiving benefits to being self-sufficient. The idea of, I believe, public programs. So I'm happy to see that change. And we don't know how many more individuals. There's not any great or accurate reports that exist out there now that tell me of all the individuals in Medina County who's at 200% of poverty, who's between 130 and 200%. So what we've done is just taken a guess, basically just throwing something against the wall and hoping that it sticks. There's a Medicaid program out there that's up to 200% of poverty. So what I've done is a calculation of how many families are on that program are at 200% of poverty. It's going to probably be about 3,000 more individuals eligible for food assistance benefits. So it's certainly going to increase caseloads, but since the policy isn't written yet, that number could certainly change. It could be higher, it could be lower. It just all depends on how they iron out those specifics. So I'll keep you posted on that.
Was the slower transition, that's kind of how they did with some of the COVID era benefits, right? They didn't just drop off on a date certain, or did they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the COVID era benefits, they were getting
Just
up to
stopped.
the maximum allotment, and then on day whatever, they said, you're finished.
Okay,
That was as troubling, but I believe Medina County, we did a really good job of telling individuals, this isn't permanent, this isn't permanent. Every time we talked to them throughout those 3 years, this is not permanent. So I think even though it was a miss, they were going to miss those benefits, people were ready for that to happen.
Well, and that might have been my recollection, was all the communication that went into notifying them that the date was coming up.
Yeah, sure.
But that's not the same as it
No.
trickling off either. So.
Yeah. So I'll keep you posted on that.
Thanks.
And then Child Protective, I reported out on this in May, that treatment foster care pilot program that we are partnering with Portage and Columbiana. We just finished the completion of the job description. That lead worker who's going to manage those treatment foster homes, they're going to be placed in Portage County, so they're not going to be a Medina County employee, but we'll work together with that person. Each county's goal is to license 3 treatment foster homes, so it'll be a total of 9 foster homes, and we hope that they will take no more than 3 children, because the idea is that because these are intensive services for these children, that we don't overwhelm a home with more than 3 children, because there's going to be some high complex needs. And this also gives us and other counties that are participating in this treatment pilot program an opportunity to look at children that are ready to step down, but they can't step down because we don't have a home to place them in. So this will be a great opportunity for those kiddos. So I'll continue to keep you posted in that realm. And then lastly, child support, as I reported last month, they're continuing to test a new software program. We had 2 last month. We'll have another one this week, and they're telling us try and break it. Like they're daring us to break it. They want us to put it. Yeah, challenge accepted, right? But they want us to test it and give it a heavy workload so that when it does go live, they know where any inconsistencies are. So Medina is participating in that, and we'll continue to keep trying to break it.
Great.
And it's to go live in July.
Great. Thanks, Debbie.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Have a
it.
great day.
Shannon Ryan, come on down. Debbie said it was like a
Last
game
but
show.
not least. Good morning. I have one resolution for your consideration, approval of the 2024 Civil Rights Plan for Medina County Public Transit. Was a little delayed, been waiting for finalization from the FTA and are trying to review, but we did get word from our contact that this was approved.
Make a motion to approve?
Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
And a brief update on our May progress in public transit for Medina County. We did introduce our 8 new vehicles. We did have 1 vehicle recall that was a factory recall from Ford. We're processing that. It hasn't stop the vehicles from running. It just is something we need to take care of. It's an idling issue. There was a few other items that were showing up with the manufacturer, so happy to see the drivers seem to like it, the passengers seem to like it. Looking at the numbers, Medina continued to perform very strong compared to May of last year. We're seeing some fluctuations in our demand service. It was down a little bit, but overall ridership was up. Continuing to see the benefits of, the MC Flex and reducing our cost. We saw a reduction in cost per mile. We saw a reduction in cost per passenger as well. So continuing to manage the budget and still provide actually a little bit more service to the public. So we're happy to see that. Really watching what's going to happen, because in June or July, we're going to see the Medina kind of even out. That's when we kind of started mid-year last year. So we'll see normalization of our service, and we continue to learn and keeping in contact. I'm also meeting with agencies, and that goes into our Office for Adults numbers continue to climb, signing new applications all the time. They're adding new folks every single day. I get to see all those and welcome new people to the service, so that's a great thing. It's challenging because that is pushing against our ability to provide that public service, but we're meeting that. We did have 12 trip denials this last May, which was down from 63 in May of 23. So we're still managing that, but it's starting to feel the pressure of making sure that we have enough service out there.
Is that partly related to some of the vehicle issues you described? Or?
No, it hasn't been vehicle. It's been a little bit of driver issue, which we're hiring. We have a few more. We had one resignation, a gentleman that we really liked retired, moved on rather, and we're continuing to hire to make sure we have the right amount of staff. I just think it's month over month, how many of the days of the week. Wednesday, we're moving our operations supervisor and the team are working to make sure we have enough vehicles and drivers on the road on Wednesdays. Wednesdays are a big day for public transit, so we're hoping the new bid will help us respond a little bit of that and not impact the public. So just going well. The vehicle's in motion, and it's nice to see getting some of those higher mileage vehicles that were costing us a lot in maintenance go. Very encouraging, and the drivers like to drive them too, and the public likes them. So
Good.
Okay.
Any questions? No? Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And then it looks like we have one commissioner's resolution. You just want me to read through that for the record? Is that how we do that?
You don't need
Or
to.
just the title? This is a resolution to appoint a representative to the Medina County Home Advisory Council. And it's appointing Stephanie Mueller.
Make a motion to approve?
Second? Discussion? I think Stephanie will do a great job.
Yep.
Roll call.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes. Okay. Any public comment from the remaining public? Nothing? Chris, do you have anything else? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, discussion. I guess that we're in discussion session now, right?
Yeah.
We're in discussion session. Chris, please.
Here to discuss. Just a couple updates for you. Friday, the bid notice will be advertised in the Gazette for the restroom renovation project. Bid opening is scheduled for July 26th. County Home Window Project. Matt and Greg and I met again yesterday to go over the details on the window needs and dimensions. We currently tentatively have scheduled July 25th as the bid opening date for that. We're going to head out to bid shortly on the jail security platform, which is for the segregation unit at the Medina County Jail. And I'll update you when we have public notice ready to go and be advertised for that. Fourthly, I've got a meeting tentatively scheduled for Thursday to continue to discuss the design build project for the sheriff vehicle storage facility out near the shooting range on State Route 162. Those are project updates. I just want to mention, following up on Brett's agenda item with regard to indigent defense, I had reached out to the Ohio Public Defender Commission to try to get them to come up and meet with us to talk about possible ways to contain cost increases moving forward. They had reached out, but I've not gotten a date from them yet as to when they may be available to assist. So I'll keep you posted. And then final note, next Monday morning, I think at 11 o'clock, we're going to schedule Jeremy Cinco to come in to talk about the Chippewa wastewater treatment plant improvements that are now being proposed. And so he'll be wanting to go through some of the details of that proposed project with you next Monday.
Great.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Anything else from Auditor's Office? Matt? No? Colleen?
I went to the Samwa Walk Hog out in Summit County on Friday, and they did approve the lease for Ohio Means Jobs,
Great.
which gives us the space then for the law library. So that's all solidified. And the Hearing Loop Company is over at the courthouse as we speak,
That's exciting.
working in Judge Schaefer's area today.
That's
so
great. Are you going to be providing technical assistance in that project?
Well, I told Chris, he asked me 5 questions today, and I didn't understand 4 of them, so
Okay.
I said I would bring
Okay.
someone over.
As long as you're there to marshal resources,
Yes.
we're in good hands. Anything else?
That is it.
Okay. I wanted to mention a couple things that I've been working on. I received some, we received, as a follow-up to our last week's meeting maybe, some comments regarding the Marks Road, 303, and
Right.
Substation Road. And it was kind of ironic. There were some comments that came into our office. There was a discussion I had with one of the city council members there, and we were able to kind of direct that through Andy's office with ODOT. Andy was Conrad was included ODOT in the exchange, and it turns out the timing on that question was good because there's been some study and evaluation of opportunities or what might be available to help improve that situation. So there's going to be some further discussions on that to come. Nothing's been scheduled. Certainly nothing's imminent. But we, in those discussions too with Andy, kind of were kicking around the possibility of maybe NOACA funding being a possibility because there could be some congestion mitigation dollars that would be available. So with that in mind, as other things come up, Andy and I have had conversations about this in the past of how we can better kind of marshal those opportunities for dollars from NOACA, really anywhere else. If ODOT's involved in things, there's some other funding resources potentially as well. So we're going to continue, I think, to work on how we can identify those opportunities for funding dollars and for addressing some of these traffic issues. It was interesting to hear Mr. Channel when he was talking
Yes.
about the pride he has in the road system, and we do have a very good and well functioning road system, but when we have some of these bigger opportunities to improve things, those obviously take a lot longer to address. And so I think us just having a better team approach with our office and the engineer's office, and then even the townships and city officials.
Well, how great
Is
would
a
it be
goal.
to get some money from NOACA?
It would be great. It would be great.
It would be
So,
really great.
and this one I think does qualify because congestion mitigation is a completely separate program than some of the other programs that we tend not to score well on, because it does feed into some of their priorities for, they don't want idling traffic, and so if traffic is moving, and it helps the traffic situation, but it also helps congestion and air quality and all those other things that are important to NOACA. So important to all of us. So I just wanted to share that update, and hopefully there'll be more information to come on all those things soon. So with that, if there's nothing else, we don't have an executive session today, so I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second, roll call.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes. Thank you, everybody. We will see you, I guess, at our special meeting on Monday.